From downtown, this is Tim Kitzer from NBA Jam, and you're listening to NintenDomain Podcast. Boom shakalaka!
This week on NintenDomain, the Game Awards nominees have been announced. Black Friday is starting early, and I have Double Dragons on my Switch.
I'm not allowed to have any more friends.
Wave goodbye to 3-foot-long fingers.
Like hot dog fingers? Welcome to NintenDomain Podcast, episode 448. Your place to hear Nintendo fans talk about NES games getting re-released in glorious 2D HD and other things. We are your hosts. I'm Trey Hell Nino Johnson.
I'm Jeremy. Did you know there's new Zelda? Mikowski.
I'm John, all patched up knitter.
And let's start off the show as we normally do. Talk about games that we got and games that we've been playing. Jeremy, you heard there was a new Zelda? You got that? Got something there?
I just got Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah,
today.
What happened?
Just a few hours ago. I needed to get some stuff done, and I had a little bit of extra money from my upcoming birthday and stuff.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was if it was pre-birthday stuff.
It is, and it's also like I could only buy one game, and I decided this was the one because
I was surprised because you were talking about
I have to have it in consideration for the end of the year
for your yearly stuff.
Good point.
I feel like this would be a huge blind spot if I didn't play this.
Because you were looking at what other game before you declared that you were going to get that game instead. What was
Metaphor.
it? Metaphor.
I thought it was either Metaphor or East 10.
It's either Metaphor.
Where you're kind of
Metaphor will be next, but I'm waiting until it goes on sale. Probably in the next month or so, it'll probably get a lot cheaper.
I mean, it's as I said at the top of the show. Black Friday's come already. There's already cyber deals. I bet you anything you'll see a drop like next week in both of those games. Probably East 10 and Metaphor.
Yeah, you were smart to wait because I mean the Nintendo game is never going to go below $40.
Nope.
Yeah. And
especially the new one, this one's not going to go on sale this year.
But this one is 60. And all that, and we'll get into it later. But there's a bunch of Nintendo stuff on sale. Like there's a bunch of Black Friday stuff happening. Well, to some people, not to me. I get denied, which I'll talk about later. But
sure.
How much have you played of Echoes of Wisdom so far? Like, what do you think?
I probably played about an hour. Yeah, I like it. So I just finished the first dungeon. I imagine it's got to be the first dungeon because
the castle stuff, the first castle stuff.
Yeah,
where you have to like sneak around and stuff.
Yeah.
Did you
sneaking around was hilarious because I just pretty much skipped that whole part. And then
did you figure out that you could get into a pot? Like I never figured that out until hours.
I found that out
game.
later I found that out later during the battle with Dark Link.
Oh yeah, I don't think I figured it out until like 10 hours, 15 hours into it that you could do that. And I was like,
that was an annoying battle, but eventually I figured it out. Eventually I figured out like the. I mean, I'm sure other people already know this, but yeah, get a strong summon and then you just grab the enemy and hold them in place and let your summon just keep hitting them over and over again. It's kind of like restraining with the bind feature. And not all enemies can be held as long, but even if they do escape, you can grab them again and they're not going to get too far from your little guy that's attacking them. So I've got a Dark Nut and he's my tank. And then I've got a couple flying thingies now and projectile shooters. So I'm having a good time. Whenever I see a new enemy, I don't leave the screen until I capture them. So
yeah,
it's got a fun little Pokemon-like mechanic to it. I won't say any of the puzzles have been any huge head scratchers or anything so far, but like I said, I'm pretty early in the game. But so far, not really having any trouble with frames or, I don't know, the stuff I've heard about. Maybe you got to get a little further in, but yeah, haven't had any trouble with that. And I think it looks great. It's fun. It's pretty straightforward, but that's okay. Like that's kind of what I wanted. When you're going back to an old Zelda game, you kind of just want an old Zelda game, and that's what this feels like.
I like the style. Like I like the toyetic style of it a lot, especially
Same.
especially later when you get into seeing like the Zoras and the Gorons and stuff like that. I think they look.
I'm not going to lie at the very beginning because I've seen that. I've seen the opening cinematic multiple times now.
Yeah, from the direct.
Seeing it on the TV, it was like this kind of looks like Lego. It kind of looks like a Lego game. When you just like because they were like zooming in and stuff. I don't think they were doing as much of that in the Link's Awakening remake. So having the like multiple camera angles and stuff during the cinematics kind of really highlights how cool the models look. But it also made it kind of look like Lego at the beginning, especially since you couldn't see Link. He had like his cloak on and he was like walking like this. Like, so yeah, but I think it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm going to play it, probably finish it. Hopefully by the time we're considering games of the year.
By next week.
This one will be, is that when we're doing it?
No. I didn't know
okay.
you just get through games pretty quickly.
Oh God, I have so much
Yeah,
I've
you'll
done
beat
by
it before any
next
of us.
week. Don't have that.
Yeah, no, I was gonna.
You'll beat it before I beat Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, when did you
I
play?
mean, I'm
when
not
did you
in
play
a
that
rush
last?
to beat it.
3 months ago.
I'm gonna try to enjoy it and all that crap. But so far, so good.
I wanted to beat it. I think I'm pretty far into it. I thought maybe I had like one dungeon left. Also, I was thinking about binding enemies. I've never done that. I've played the game for like 40 hours, and I never did that. I never held the enemies with the. I didn't know what you were talking about. I was like, you can hold enemies. Yeah,
Because you know
done
how when
that.
you grab the like platforms that are moving and you can move with them or whatever. It's the same
you're
thing.
talking about the try grab or whatever, right? Like where the little guy
Yeah.
like.
I think that's called binding.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would always forget that I had that thing. Like there were plenty of times where I was trying to do a puzzle and I'm like, I don't know what to do, and I'm like, oh yeah, I can do that grab thing, which I never do. I do it more now, but I've never tried grabbing living creatures with it. I've just grabbed inanimate objects and moved them for puzzle stuff. That's it.
Yeah, there was a puzzle I solved where there was like a Deku Baba or whatever they call him on a platform behind a fence, and I was like, I'm just gonna grab him, and then he just fell, and then I won the puzzle.
Nice. Yeah, I figured you'd have fun with it. I mean, it's gonna remind you of the old school Zelda stuff, and
It's not gonna be too stressful, and
people say it's not that long, so I figured you'd crank it out in a couple days. I wanted to.
I'd like to get a couple weeks out of it at least.
I mean, I'm planning on finishing it. Maybe we can play it some more on Thanksgiving or something. But what was it? Yeah, Alex asked me about the Game of the Year stuff again. I'm like, oh shit, because last year I did top 5 games that actually finished. So I was like, well, I'll probably do that again. So I gotta, if I want to include other stuff, I gotta actually get through them. That's my
I don't know
my
what I
rule.
finished this year.
So
Shadow of the Erd Tree content. I guess I had maybe there was other stuff. I don't remember.
but yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. You got that.
Yeah, I'm happy. I feel it just felt weird not playing the new Zelda game, especially since it's an original one. Like I waited a little while to buy Link's Awakening or whatever, and not this long, but I already knew what to expect. But this time around, I've just been in the back of my brain for the last couple months. I've just been thinking about this game, even like when I was getting ready for my wedding. I'm like, I wonder what that Zelda game's like.
Well, it came out.
I guess it came out
like the day before your wedding. It was
Right.
like right, yeah. It was like right then. It was.
So I guess it hasn't been
yeah.
that long.
So
It's
it
been
was
just a little over a month. Oh, almost 2 months. Jesus Christ. I've been married almost 2 months.
Supposedly the frame rate gets really bad whenever you get a horse, but I still have yet to find a horse in the game. So
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm at they call it Hyrule Ranch or whatever, but that's where I'm at right now, trying to see how to get a horse.
I'll say, do you have one already? In 2 hours in, and I'm like
I've
40 hours,
ridden
and
a
I never
horse,
got a horse.
but I don't have my own horse.
Yeah, I never got a horse in the game, and I've
not
I've
gotten anywhere near there.
I've almost beat it, and I've never seen a horse. So
I got to the desert, and that's about where I'm at. I think it's like just after the first phase.
I beat the desert. I beat the snow mountain. I beat the volcano area, the Goron area, but I never found any horses that I could ride or saw any. But apparently I'm not missing anything because it doesn't work very well.
I mean, I'm not super impressed with the horses. They're kind of just an extra layer of stuff you have to remember.
I mean, I didn't even use the horses in Breath of the Wild either. Like
I didn't use the horses
just float.
Ocarina of Time, except when I had to.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I never even looked at a horse.
I used Epona in Ocarina of Time.
I barely used the horse in Red Dead Redemption. That's the only way you get around.
I didn't even look at that game at all. I was like, I don't need that game.
When I
So I don't
drive
even know
past
anything
a
about
horse
horses.
stable, all I see are floating metal horseshoes. And I'm like, why are those things moving in the air?
Doesn't even exist to you. Oh, well, have you? I figured you'd probably still been playing Pokemon trading card game, right?
Yeah, that's my other big one for the week. When I said I couldn't have any more friends, it literally told me, you can't make any more friend requests. I didn't know there was going to be a maximum amount I could, but
You're
maybe
so
there's
popular.
like a queue. No. I'm not allowed to make more. It's not that. But I have a lot of friends though. I'm up to
Let's
over
say,
50. Let's see. I've got 55 friends out of 99. And I was trying to get it up to 90, as close to 99 as you could. So I think I can't ask for any more friends until people deny me or whatever that I've sent
Yeah,
requests to.
because you've been. Yeah, you said you've been sending requests to everybody.
Every time I play, I send a request, and then I play a lot of battles. Like right now, let's see. I'll tell you where I'm at on battles. Still not super great at them.
I have like two. I have like two friends. It's you and Seth Macy. Those are my two Pokemon trading card friends.
So I've registered 191 cards in the decks. So I've got a lot of cards. And then I've won 33 versus battles.
Damn.
I was trying to get up to 50 before the podcast, but people are getting better. Every day I play, like people are better. I don't know if it's pairing me up with harder people when I have better decks, but this game's pretty addictive. I've slowed down on it because it makes you slow down because you can only like open 2 packs a day, and there's not as many missions where you can keep getting more stuff like they have, the first like couple hours you play it. So now I mostly just check on it once in a while, and then I'll play a battle or two on my break at work and maybe a couple before I go to bed. And sometimes I'll just be like, I'm going to go in and like update my decks. Because I got through all the single player stuff. And then I got through all the special challenges, which are done now. So I had just done everything I could to get stuff. So I was like, I guess I just got to do battles now. So that's basically all I do when I am playing it. Other than that, I open a pack 2 or 3 times a day and hope that I get cards I don't already have, which is very rare anymore.
I got a couple. I still haven't played anybody online at all. I haven't really played.
I still want to try
the
playing
computer
against you,
either.
see what it's like.
I just like opening packs. That's what I do.
Especially in real time, just being like, are we really playing in real time? Because I always wonder, like, you have to be, right?
I think so.
I don't see how you couldn't be.
Yeah.
Was it one of those, what do you call it, the passive playing things?
It's not an
I don't think so, because it gives you a time limit. Right, it gives you a time limit. And if you don't, then the other person automatically wins if you don't like do something. So
yeah.
And I think that's pretty nice too. So there's probably several of my wins that came from something like that, where either they timed out or a lot of them, you could tell people resign when they're just like, well, I can't win this thing. So they just resign. And I wish I did that.
Do a lot of people quit?
I see the writing on the wall a lot, and I still stick it out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's just people playing online, right? Like, do a lot of people try to quit early before they win?
No.
Or before they lose, I mean. That's always
no, because it doesn't matter, because when you quit, you lose, the other
anyway.
person gets the win. So I guess I don't know for sure that, because I haven't tried it myself. I haven't tried to see, like, can I dip out and then not get the loss? But I don't think it works that way.
I don't think it's done that. I don't think it's done that for years. Like, because so many people, try to just quit when they know they're going to lose, so they don't.
It's frozen up on me a couple times, which sucked. One time it froze up so bad that, like, I only had like 10 seconds left when it finally like came back, and I was about to do like a really good attack. It was like a fully loaded Articuno or something. I can't remember, but I was excited, and then it froze up, and I'm like, no. Actually, it froze up when I was putting the energy on it. So like the energy like froze in place, and it wouldn't like attach to the card. I'm like, what's going on here? And I couldn't do anything. Like it wouldn't let me do anything on the. And then the timer started counting down. And I was getting really nervous, but whatever. Yeah, I don't know how much longer I'll play this thing, because they're going to start putting more cards in here, and there's going to be so many that you have to like keep track of and all that. I'm probably not going to enjoy it a lot when they start to make it more complicated, but
you can just
for the moment, it's
auto
fun.
build your decks based around the types or whatever.
Oh, I do that.
Yeah.
But I've
Just to
noticed
see
a
what's in
lot
there.
of the auto builds. I have to go and tweak them because
Yeah,
they'll
they
throw
put-
in
they
like
put weird
ones
shit
that
in
are
there.
yeah, they'll like throw in the ones that I don't have like a way to get to. Like I don't know. I think I've got like whatever Gengar turns into. It's like Haunter and Gengar, and then I can't remember what the 3 stages are. But I don't have the second stage.
Oh, I thought Gengar was like the last one, right?
Maybe it's Gengar though. They'll throw whatever the last stage is into my deck, an auto build, but I don't have a way to evolve to that. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a useless card.
You're missing.
So I got to like
yeah.
watch out for stuff like that. And then, of course, I like to have my items in there that I like. There's some of those player cards that you don't want in your deck because they're just useless if they're not for the type you have. So just stuff like that. And then, of course, it's kind of a pain in the ass. I wish you could automatically just have an EV in every deck because I hate having to look for the EV to put into each type to evolve it because it's in a whole different section, you know.
Sure. Oh yeah, because it's a normal type before it's evolved. It's a Ghastly, Ghastly Haunter and Gengar. Ghastly's like the little tiny ghost guy.
I'm missing whatever the second stage is or
That's
whatever
Haunter.
they call it in the stage 1.
Yeah.
And then I have a couple like really, I have a couple of the nicer prints of the other one. I don't know if it's an EX. I don't think it is. Needless to say, fun game. I've had some really good matches that were nail biters, and those are the most fun because you really do feel like once you start to sort of see what the opponent's going to do, you really feel like you understand the game if you can like kind of call their moves. And that's kind of ultimately what this game is. There's a lot of chance to it, but if you can sort of predict what your opponent's going to do, that's the only way you're going to win against someone who's even halfway skilled, which I'm not. So if you ever play me, you'll probably win.
I don't play it all though. You play more than I do. I just collect the stuff. I did get the Articuno EX. I got that guy. Just from opening the packs, and I did open the 10 packs at once, like in between.
Oh,
you
nice.
know, like right after we talked last week, and that was cool. But I can't.
Yeah,
I can't do
I'll
it.
never have that happen again.
Yeah, I keep trying to do it, and it's like you need to buy gold, and it's like I'm not buying. I'm not buying anything. I'm not putting.
Yeah, you don't have
towards
enough.
this.
That's the thing. It's at a crawl now for me where even though I'm still in the premium access, like the trial period or whatever, I get extra like packs or whatever. It's still just like I might as well only check it like once or twice a day unless I feel like battling. There's really no point.
Yeah, I did play the original one, the Game Boy Color one. I did play that a little bit.
Cool.
Last week. I forgot to put it.
Played
in
it
my
on
notes.
the Switch.
Yeah, I played it on the Switch. It's very similar. I mean, you played it before. You have it, you know. So,
Yeah.
you know. But there's the same thing with the energy and putting the energy on the cards. The only thing that's kind of confusing is the way that hit points are shown because they're dots instead of like having like an actual health bar on the game. So that's kind of confusing. So it's like every dot is like 20 hit points or something like that, and it'll like dots will appear depending on how much damage you do, and that's just kind of like. You know, compared to the way it is already, it takes a minute to get your mind around that, to try to like predict where they're at and how close they are and that sort of thing. I just kind of just played through the tutorial mode, and then they ask you like what pack you want, you know, so you have like the 3 main Pokemon from like Red and Blue. You know, you got to do like your Bulbasaur pack and Squirtle, Charmander, whatever, and then you go from there. So that's about as far as I got. But I just wanted to like, you know, see how close it was to that, and it is pretty close. You know, the way it works and all that. So I'm sure I'll play with it later. I was doing it while I was editing, so it's always hard to do like reading while I'm editing.
I guess it's
don't wanna
adjusting
read
to
all the
whatever
tutorial stuff.
Yeah, whatever they had to do to make it work on a small screen, especially like
it doesn't look as
really
pretty.
old. Right, it doesn't look
but
pretty.
I mean, but it's you know years old.
It's not even a Game Boy Color game, is it? Right, it's like one of those hybrids.
Oh, I mean, it looks like a Game Boy Color game on the Switch.
But I think it was one of those black
cartridges. It could have been one that went both ways. But I mean, it looks good. Like I think it looks good. Like it doesn't look, you know, it's not like shades of one color like the original Game Boy is.
Different pea soup varieties.
Yeah,
I'll give it a try. I mean, I like this game enough, but part of the fun of it, really, to be honest, is playing real people because they're just much better than anything else you play in the game. Like maybe they'll throw some harder AI missions in there, but once you have the right deck against whatever you're playing, they just let you win pretty much. It seems like it, at least. But yeah, that's. See, other than that, it's Balatro on the phone.
Oh yeah, you still playing
A little
that?
bit.
I mean, we'll get
Yeah.
into it later, but Balatro got some nominations on the
Yeah.
Game Awards,
A lot of nominations.
like 4 or 5
Yeah,
of
we'll
them.
get
It
to
was up there.
Oh, and I
Yeah.
did buy another game this week, but I haven't played it yet because
Oh,
it was
yeah?
on sale. I grabbed Radical Dreamers because Square was having the sale. So
Chrono Cross.
yeah, I figured, you know what, this is a budget RPG that I could play on my Switch. I'm just gonna grab it.
It was like $10 or something. Yeah, I was wondering if
I think
you
it was
had-
on sale for like $7.
Oh yeah, it was pretty cheap. Maybe it was less than 10, I think. I didn't know if you had that or not. If you'd ever got.
I own it
Chrono
on the
Cross or
PlayStation
not.
1.
I do too. I have the disc. I have the PlayStation
I actually
1
bought
disc
it.
of Chrono Cross.
Within the last couple of years. I definitely talked about it on the podcast, but I bought it for cheap. It was cheap.
Yeah, I bought it. I mean, I bought it in like 2000s, like aughts or whatever.
Mhm. Well, I used to own it, and then
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to it.
Like
and
I
then
bought it used.
again.
Like nobody cared. Like I bought it at a GameStop probably for $10 or something like that. It was real cheap.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know how much I'll play it, but having it on the Switch instead of having to boot up the PlayStation 1 to play it, it's probably going to be more accessible that way. And
Yeah, I mean, when was the last time
as a
you booted
result,
up
I might care about it more.
your PS1?
Right. I don't even know where it is, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, I have a PS1. Well, I mean, I have one, but it's not hooked up. I mean, I always just used the PS2 to play PlayStation 1 games because it was backwards compatible. But that's cool. Yeah. There was a lot of stuff in the Square sale there. It was. I know like a lot of the Saga games were on there. Not the one that I want, but because that one came out this year. But there's some decent sales in there that I was looking around at. I know like they got like the Mana games were on sale and like the Saga collection, the Game Boy one, like that's on sale too. I think that's like $10.
If you didn't have any of the anthology Final Fantasy games, now's the time to buy the collection because
the Final Fantasies are cheap.
50 something, right?
Yeah,
for the
you
whole
can get the whole
collection.
thing for like 50, but even if you want one, I think they're like less than $8 or something like that. And like all the Dragon Quest stuff is on sale, which makes sense, 'cause everything went on sale right when 3 came out, so why not? Like Builders 2 and the mobile games and all that are all on sale. I think 7 even is less than like $7, the Final Fantasy 7.
Still can't believe it's that we got Chrono Cross before we got Chrono Trigger, but
Well,
that's what happened. It's a budget title because no one cares that much about it.
no, yeah. I'll be interested to see how much you play it, or I mean, did you beat it? Right? Didn't you get all the way
I've never
through when it
beaten
came
it.
out? I mean, you got
When
a
it
lot.
first came out, I played.
You got a lot
pretty far into
farther
it,
than
but
I did.
It was 20 plus years ago, so I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean, I bought it for PS1. I played it on my PS2. I think I probably bought it around the time that it wasn't right when I got the PS2, but it was later. And I played it and I didn't like it, so I stopped playing it.
Yeah.
I didn't like it very much. Once I was getting like a new character like every 10 minutes, I was like, oh my god, this game.
That gets a little overwhelming.
And then I found out that like I didn't even get the right character because I should have answered a different way at the beginning of the game, and I'm like, okay, fuck this game. It's like, yeah. So it was that one was pretty. I was kind of done with it pretty quick. I don't know. I know a lot of people defend it, and I thought about maybe trying it again, but I don't have time to really. I had too much other stuff to play that I'm more interested in than fucking Chrono Cross. But it still has an amazing intro, amazing opening song and intro. I'll still love that forever.
I was going to ask, do you own this on the Switch?
No,
Yeah.
Chrono Cross.
Okay, I didn't think.
No, I just have. I have the PS1 disc. That's the one I have.
I think I basically was just like, I'm going to get Zelda, but I do want an RPG, so I grabbed that, and then it's just going to be a little longer before I get a really meaty RPG. Unless
Sure.
I want to go back to Dragon Quest 8. on the
Well,
DS. I guess I could.
Sure,
do that.
you could do that. I would. Dragon Quest 3 is so good though. I know it's a remake of an NES game, but it's good. It's really good. I've been having.
Oh no, I looking forward to hearing you talk about
the
it,
remake.
'cause
The re-release is great.
I actually haven't really listened to much talk about it. Not thinking anything would be ruined necessarily, but I just kind of interested in how they fleshed it out, or if it's mostly just a straight up port.
Well, did you have anything else you want to talk about for your stuff? We could get into that.
Nah, not really.
Well,
I mean, I've been playing a lot of mobile games, playing Jeopardy. My phone just became so much more of a gaming
mobile
thing.
Jeopardy.
Yeah, it's.
I mean, I know it's on Jeopardy's on
ridiculously
everything.
easy.
I mean, I played
So
so
the way
many
it works
Jeopardy
is you
games, but
get-
I never played it mobile. Can you play
The way
against
it works
people?
is there's like 3 categories, and I think there's only 4 questions in each category, and you just like power through it. You choose 5 questions, single 5 in double Jeopardy, and then you go to that final Jeopardy, and everybody's just kind of flying through it. So you're just competing against 2 other people online, and then it gives you your scores at the end. And I almost always win. Maybe I need to bump up the difficulty,
Is it free?
but I feel like the questions are really easy.
I mean, I'm sure it's free.
Yeah, it's
I
free.
don't think you paid for it. I mean, but it's not
free.
like it's not with your Apple Arcade or whatever. Because don't you have that now?
I don't think so. Maybe it is.
I don't know.
I didn't think
I'll
about
look
that.
into
I
it.
forgot I was still doing that trial too.
Yeah, I'll try it out. I mean, I'm a sucker for Jeopardy games. But
It makes me feel smart because I know I've almost everything they ask me.
on the subject of sales, let me talk about my sale denial here that happened. I was pretty pissed about it. Actually, I posted on NVC because I don't understand why it happened. So yeah, so they have the cyber deals out now on Switch. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff on sale, including Sonic X Shadow Generations is on sale for $29.99, marked down from $49.99, and I was like, oh, cool, I'll buy that because I want that game. You know, I was going to wait for it to be $20-$30. It's $30 digital, so I was like,
Crazy how fast it got marked down. It's only been out for a couple weeks, right?
I knew it was going to happen. It's just the third year. I mean, they put out their Sonic game, and then it drops. It always drops, Black Friday. I was waiting for it to happen, and then it did. And I was like, oh, cool, I'll download it and play it last night. And I had it on my wish list, and I went and I clicked on proceed to purchase, and right when I clicked on proceed to purchase, it said the price has changed, and then it went to $50, and I'm like, what? What the fuck? So so I backed out, and I'm like, what the hell? And it says $50 now. And I'm like, what? And then you go to like on the eShop, it says like, here's all the new cyber deals, and it shows Sonic X Generations like in there, and it still says $50 on it. And I'm like, what? What?
I ain't no cyber deal.
I was like, did I miss it for was it only for a day and then I missed it and they took it away or whatever? So
I saw it when I was
Did it
scrolling
change
through the
over?
shop yesterday.
So I checked it. So I checked it on my phone. It still said $50. So I was like, well, let's try this. So I logged out of my account, and then I looked at it, and it said $30. So it's like, it's on sale, but I can't get it for whatever. It's some like weird glitch in the system where I can't get the sale. It's like, it's so annoying. And I just
What it says on the website.
Well, I mean, it'll say $29.99 for you. Everyone other than me, it'll say $29.99. But for me, it says $49.99. I don't know. Like I said, I logged out of my account and it said the right price. But then when I log back in, it says $50. It must have been some sort of glitch or something because I can't get the sale. I don't understand.
That's when is the sale supposed to be over?
December 3rd. So I mean, it's going for a while, for the next like 12 days. But I mean, I just gotta wait it out. I don't know. It's so weird. It's never happened to me before. So I pressed buy, and then it said like price changed, and then it took the sale away, and I was like, what? It's so weird. Like, it's never happened to me before. So yeah.
I mean, you might just, if you really want it, you might just go ahead and buy it, and then raise the complaint. Hey, that I got overcharged for this.
I don't want to do that though. I want to pay for the sales price. I can wait. It's on
But
sale.
if it's just a glitch or whatever, then they should take care of you, I imagine.
I mean, I was like, should I try to? I don't know. Should I try to contact like somebody about the eShop or something and be like, what the hell happened? I don't know. But somebody on NVC said that they had run into a similar problem. So maybe it's just a glitch all around. I don't know. But some people said they got it. So
Maybe when you go to actually buy it, it will give you the regular price. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to trust that because it's going to still. The thing is like, I bought those like game cards, and I already have money on my Switch, so it's like I was just going to use the leftover money that was on there to buy it. I didn't want to necessarily spend any of my own money, but I don't know. Well, we'll see. I'll wait it. I can wait. It's on sale till December. Like I said, I don't need it right now necessarily. I got plenty of other shit to play. I just was like, looking forward to it being on sale, and it was on sale, and I got denied. Don't they know? Don't they know that I beat the other two Sonic games? Like, come on.
On the website, it's currently $49.99.
Oh, on the eShop's site? Or
Yeah, on Nintendo.com.
Oh, for you it says $49.99?
Yep.
Oh, weird. Yeah, I don't know. Because it's because if you go on the eShop, it like through your system, it'll say headlines and it'll say like cyber deals, and it's in there. It's in the cyber deals, and then they say like for the next 12 days. And yeah, so I don't know. Anyway, it's annoying. So that's what happened with that. But there's a lot of other shit that's on sale that I might get, like the Mortal Kombat 1 DLC from this year is like $20. It's half off. I was gonna wait for that to be half off, so I'll probably get that too. It comes with all the extra characters too, like all the DLC characters. And there's story stuff too with Cyrax and Sector, because they bring all the robots into it and all that. So I was wanting to play that. I'll get that at some point before the sale goes away. It was like One Piece Odyssey is like half off. That's like $30. I saw one that I put on here for you, Jeremy. The Darius Cosmic Collection is $18, marked down from $60. I know you were looking into those, and
oh man,
that's a good deal. I've never seen it that cheap on there, so. It's kind of a random one, but I guess I happen to have Darius on my wish list. That's how I found it.
They do go up. No, I think I have it on my wish list as well. Those games are expensive, but they're really fun.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how many comes with it, but it's a collection. It's normally 60, so I think 18 from 60. Anything below 20.
It's called Darius, by the way.
Whatever. I call it Darius because he's my favorite Mortal Kombat character. I'm kidding. I never liked Darius. It's because of my favorite singer, Darius Rucker. But there's some other shit on there. Tokyo Xanadu is on sale too. I thought about getting that one because that one was recommended from Hugh himself on this very podcast. But it's like I need another Falcom game because I still got East 10 to play. But like to see those sale prices. But speaking of sale prices, I bought a Butto Bird. I think that's how you pronounce it, probably. I don't know if you remember this, like a long time ago. It was from a Japanese Direct. It's basically had these birds that kind of look like owls, sort of. They have machine guns on their backs, so they fly around and shoot each other. It was something that I, was interested in. It was Japan only, and I marked it on my Japanese eShop. So I got an email saying that it was on sale for 100 yen, which is like less than $1. That's like cheap. So I was like, well, let's see if I have any money just sitting on my Japanese eShop. And I did. I had like $2 or 200 yen on there, just left over from whatever I bought last, because I don't really get, I'll
buy the code off PlayAsia and then which I wonder if we still can do that.
I'll buy the digital card. I thought you could. I mean, I haven't tried it recently. I think the last thing I got was Pocky.
I know a lot of
Pocky
places stopped selling digital cards.
Well, Amazon did, but I mean, I would think that PlayAsia would still do it. But I marked it on there, and I was like, I got $100 in there, so I played it, and it's fun to play. I wish it was in English because it's I can't really. I mean, I can tell what's going on. It's basically like dogfighting. It feels like a really snappy, kind of Star Fox multiplayer.
So it's 3D.
Yeah, it reminds me of like Nintendo 64 Star Fox multiplayer, like that. And it's really, you basically you zoom in and you shoot the guy with the trigger, and then it'll give you like button prompts. It'll say like press CR, and you shoot the guy until they get stunned, and then you hit A, and then you zoom, and then you knock him out of the air, and that's pretty much how it works. But there's you can pick up like extra like missiles and gas and stuff like that, like in the world while you're flying around, and you're basically dogfighting, and there's a bunch of different missions that you do. And it'll be like, pretty quick ones, and it'll go to the next, and next, and next. And it was really, really fun for what it was. I just wish I could, read all the dialogue and all that, which I use my translator on my phone enough just to see like what the options were and all that sort of thing, so I could figure out, because I think there's online too included with it, which I didn't try that. I just did the regular single player, but I don't know, it's a pretty solid game. I wish it would get localized and translated and all that. It's fun to play, even though I don't really know what's going on in it. But it was worth it for, not getting it for nothing, for money that was on my Japanese eShop that I forgot. I mean, it was 100. It's actually the sale is gone now. I checked and it's back to because it was 10. It was around 10. It was 1,000 yen when it started. So, which is already pretty cheap. But yeah, I was like fuck 100. I bet I have that, and then I did. So, I fucked around with it the other day. But my other dragon, as I was talking about, it got double dragons here, was Rage of the Dragons Neo, which I talked about last week it releasing. I didn't really know what it was though. Actually, the history of it's pretty interesting. It's actually the sequel to a Double Dragon fighting game that was based on the Double Dragon movie, the live action movie. So
for the Neo Geo, right?
Yeah, so there was a Neo Geo Double Dragon fighting game that came out around the time of the live action movie. So all the characters in the game are based off of that, and this is actually a sequel to that game. So all the characters are in there. They're just like, so Billy and Jimmy are Billy and Jimmy. They just got different last names. Like a Bobo's in there, but he's called a Bubo, which is funny.
Yeah.
But he's a big giant muscly guy. It's obviously, and like Linda's in there. Like you see like the characters from Double Dragon in there, and it's really it's
is
good.
Robert Patrick in there?
I mean, I don't know. I never saw the live action movie, so I don't know who was in it or what.
He was the villain.
Is that the T-1000 guy?
Yep.
Because I can actually get him on Mortal Kombat if I get the Mortal Kombat DLC, because he's a Mortal Kombat character now. T-1000 is. Because what was it? Terminator was downloadable from Mortal Kombat 11, so they're keeping that going. And Ghostface is in there too from Scream. Like, it's stupid. All the extra characters they got on there. I think Ghostface just launched too, like this week.
I remember liking the Double Dragon movie as a well, I would have been 13 or so, 12, 13. I knew it was corny and everything, but I knew it wasn't like objectively a good movie, but I thought it was like kind of fun. I'd be interested to try this game.
I might have saw some of it, like might have saw some of it in college. I just don't remember any of it. Like we might have rented it at LCC, like just to watch it for kicks, but I don't remember anything about it. But but the fighting game is great. Like Rage of the Dragons is awesome. Like it's really, really good. Like it's like the moves are really interesting. It's like it's not a direct rip off of Street Fighter. Like even though like Billy and Jimmy are in there, they have completely different moves. You know, they're not like Ryu and Ken. Like they're very different. It has tag mechanics like a Marvel vs. Capcom. It's very much like you can have your character come in and fight. You can ambush from both sides on there with your characters. Like there's a lot of really cool special moves. Like it's a really solid fighting game. Like I was, playing it with my controller and all that. And I got pretty much through it. Like the final boss is a total bitch, and it's very much arcade hard. So I couldn't get through like the ultimate Black Dragon or whatever he's called. But I mean, the game looks great, and it definitely feels like an SNK fighter game. It feels like a good like whatever it's called. It feels like a good King of Fighters, but with like, characters inspired by Double Dragon, so. And I'm more interested in something like this than like a beat 'em up, than a Double Dragon beat 'em up, because, fighting games have more depth to them to me because beat 'em ups, you just, play it once and then you're done with it, for the most part. So this one was intriguing. It was on sale too. It was a couple bucks off, and I had, I had money on my account already. So I was like, well, all right, I'll go for it. But yeah, no, it's really cool. You can do it's got all the bells and whistles and all that. You can do the, you can do like the scan lines or pixel perfect, and you can stretch the screen. Or one of the coolest things actually, which most games don't do this, like for some reason, like they do it on like Mortal Kombat, but a lot of these games don't do this. This actually has where you can put all the moves on the screen while you're playing, which really helps. Like, so if you play it, if you don't stretch it, it's got like the bars on the side, the 4x3 and all that. And you can actually fill the border up with the moves for each character. So like whoever you're fighting, their moves will be on the right and your moves will be on the left. And whenever you swap in your characters, it'll change too. And that's like, I mean, you can do that in Mortal Kombat, but like most games, they don't let you put it on the screen. I think the last Japanese fighting game that I played that you're able to do that was like Tatsunoko had an option where you could put some of your moves on the screen. But it's just it really helps when you're trying to learn the characters and all that. And there's some really cool characters in there. Like a lot of interesting moves. Like this one, there's like this one karate lady that can do like the spinning pile driver, like Zangief's spinning pile driver and all that. And there's moves that are similar to Street Fighter, but the characters don't feel like straight ripoffs of the other ones. And it's got like you can do the practice mode with the hitboxes and all that fun stuff, and it'll tell you the frames, and it's very it's very much a hardcore fighting game. And I was having a lot of fun with it. It looks really good. The animation's really good. There's a lot of cool moves in there. So I mean, I don't really care whether it has what it has to do with the game or with the movie. It doesn't have that much story, the fighting game. Like you go through the characters, they'll say a little bit back and forth. you fight a Bubo in the middle, and then you fight like the ultimate dragon guy, Johan, at the end. And yeah, he sucks. Like he's really, he's got some mad some mad damage moves. I couldn't get through him, but you can actually save whenever you want, and you can you can save state at any time, like in the middle of matches, and whenever you start up the arcade, it'll say like continue, and you can go right back to wherever you save stated and all that. So there's all this extra options and stuff in there. It's got online mode, all that fun stuff. I was hoping maybe I could convince like Joe or Shake to get us so we could play it, but I mean. What was it? Well, the Marvel games, physical is supposed to be out next week, so I'm sure we'll finally get to play that. But yeah, it's cool. It's a cool game. I guess it'd been too long since I had bought a fighting game, so I felt like I needed another one, and this one was the right price for me. So yeah, I was having a lot of fun with it. But the main game I've been playing more than anything else, of course, is Dragon Quest III HD-2D or 2D HD. I don't remember which is first or last or whatever. That's the game that came out last Wednesday, and I got 16 hours in there so far. So
it was funny the way you posted what you were doing. I think you posted it in the Slack under Game of the Moment, but the way you posted it made it sound like you'd already beaten it. I was like, did Trey already beat this game?
What did I put in there?
Just the way you wrote. You just wrote Dragon Quest 3.
My thoughts
Great game
on it,
with gameplay, or I don't know, like the way you just said it, like sounded kind of like a review as though you had finished it. And I was like,
oh no, it was my.
Trey just play that straight through.
It was my initial thoughts on it. I'm definitely not anywhere close to beating it, but I did. I just got the ship, so you could say I'm like, I don't know, a quarter of the way through or something like that. I got the boat, so that's cool. Like the game basically. If you've ever played Dragon Quest III before, there's the keys. You get like the magic keys at the beginning, and then you get the boat, and then you got all the different dungeons that you go to that have the orbs, and you get all the orbs, and then there's a secret thing that you do at the end, which I won't say if you haven't gotten there, but it was a pretty cool surprise if you didn't know about it. But yeah, no, I was just giving my initial impressions on there, and I think I said. Speed up the battles. The battles are really slow, but thankfully you can speed them up like twice or three times. I'm playing in an ultra fast mode, so I
probably would be too.
Because I was playing, I was like, wow, this feels really slow. But all you got to do is just hit L or R like a couple times, and it'll speed up the battles. It's got that beautiful 2D HD in there. All the characters look really good. All the designs of the monsters and all that. The main new thing of this one versus the other one is the Monster Wrangler class, which I'd say if anybody's playing it or anybody's planning on getting it, make sure you put a Monster Wrangler in your party from the very beginning. The Monster Wrangler is basically, it sounds like it's not as much Pokemon as you would think. Like it makes you think like you can catch all the monsters and keep. That's not really how it works. As you like go through the game in the map, you'll see like stuff that maybe sticks out or look different. Like when you're on the map, on the world map, you'll see like a tree that looks different from the other trees, and you walk up to it, and it's like its own like little secret area. And in these secret areas, you can find monsters that will join you, and you actually use them. You can use them to fight other monsters in the monster tournament, which you used to only be able to bet on, but now you can actually control them. But the Monster Wrangler actually levels up based on how many monsters you get. So if you get a certain amount of monsters, you get more moves. So that's kind of how you like level up your character. And also something really interesting, when you get like more than one type, that your monsters level up as well. So like if you get a slime and then you get two slimes, then both your slimes level up because you have more slimes. Like I would notice that happening, like your characters. I haven't really done any of the monster battle stuff, but I was going to try to go back to the first level and just start powering through that because I didn't really know exactly how it worked. And the Monster Wranglers, they also have a spell that they can do, and they'll tell you like whether there's a monster near you or not if you like find an area and they're not there, because there's a day and night system, and sometimes you have to find them like at dusk, or you have to find them at dawn, or you got to find them at night or whatever. So a lot of times you'll come into these places at the wrong time, but there's a spell you can do that doesn't cost any magic points or whatever, and it'll tell you whether there'll be a monster there or not. And it'll just basically say, like, there is a monster here, but they're not there right now. So that means you just got to come back at a different time of day and get them in that way. So there's that. But there's expanded dungeons. Like the dungeons are bigger than they were like on the Game Boy game, on the NES game. They've added, there's voiceover now. There's like fully voiced cutscenes, like which wasn't in any of the other ones, as far as I know. You can play
It's
it in
fully orchestrated music. I don't know if you have that.
the music's
written down
orchestrated too. Yeah, it's you can play it in Japanese or English. I actually have it in a Japanese audio, just because I played it in English first, but I don't know, it felt weird. It felt like it should be in Japanese, so I put it in Japanese. And there's cutscenes. They added bosses that weren't there before. Like originally, you just found the keys. You would just find them in a dungeon, and that was that. But they added like boss battles before the keys now for specific like event items. There's like new bosses, and I was actually watching a comparison because I was kind of stuck on this one level. I was stuck on the pyramid because I actually made it way harder than it actually was. Because in the pyramid, there's these like trap doors where they drop you into the basement of the pyramid, and then you got to come out and start all over again. When you drop into the basement, it says that you can't use any of your spells. I thought that was for the whole pyramid, so I went through the whole thing with not using any spells. So it made it extra hard. But with the Monster Wrangler, you actually get this ability called Soothing Sounds, where you can actually heal the whole party with it. So I was using that on the pyramid, and that's how I kept everybody alive. But it only does like 20, 25, 30 hit points of healing or whatever.
So you're basically just healing constantly.
Yeah, I mean, well, depending on how much you get hit, And it's a Dragon Quest game. Like these early Dragon Quest games are very much all about going out and grinding and getting enough money to get the best equipment, and get the best armor and all that that'll help you last longer and whatever. That's very much how the first 3 Dragon Quests are. Like especially the first one. The first one, that's all it is really about. It's going out and getting enough money to go back to get something that'll help you go farther. Which I always liked the simplicity of that. And that's very much how this one is as well. But also you got to you got to work all the classes into it. So when you start out, you get to pick whatever class you want. Aside from there's one that's hidden that you can't get till later, and that's the Sage class. And and I did actually end up getting that last night. There's a couple ways to do it. You can either get the Gadabout. That's what they're called. They're basically clown-like classes. They're pretty much a joke, is the idea. It's like you take this really shitty class, and if you can get it up to level 20, you can become a Sage, basically, as a reward for dealing with this shitty clown person through the whole thing. Because I don't know if you watched Donkey's video where he had 3 clowns in his party, and he basically gets killed because they're worthless. So yeah, they're shitty. I haven't used that class yet because like I said, they're worthless. But there's another way to do it. Like once you get to the All Trades Abbey, that's the place where you can change your classes. Of course, they're always called the All Trades Abbey in every Dragon Quest that ever has class changing. Behind it, there's this this tower of this challenge tower, or whatever it's called. You can find the Book of Wisdom in there, and if you find the Book of Wisdom, you can turn any of your characters into the Sage class without having to deal with the Gadabout class. So I basically use my Mage and turn them into a Sage because that makes more sense, because then they have higher wisdom and all that. But whenever you switch classes, all of your basically all of your stats get halved. But it's not like, and you go back to level 1, but it's not like starting as level 1. Like you'll still have a much higher stats than you would when you first started the game. But the idea is you don't like change all your classes at once, but also you'll gain like 10 levels like in one battle. Like right after you change your classes. That's kind of how it's always worked. I guess I wanted to talk about the the wokeness of it, as everybody's been talking about. So stupid. Here's what if anybody says anything about like Dragon Quest 3 being woke, this is basically the thing. It's so stupid. I ended up like blocking this guy on this Dragon Quest group that I'm in on Facebook because he kept saying all this stupid shit about whatever right-wing woke bullshit stuff. So it's like they're trying to be inclusive, but I feel like they're really confused also. Like I honestly found it more confusing than anything else. Instead of like having a male and female option, there's option A and option B now, is what it is. Which, cool. It's I prefer the game as like, hey, you just make your character look however you want him to look, and let you give yourself your own pronouns. Boom, there you go. That's all you need.
I think like as far as like character design, I just think of like don't have hairstyles just for one model or the other. Like use all hairstyles, use all this, use all that.
Just let yourself make your character look however you want them to look, and then you choose your pronouns, and then boom, you're good. That's how every game should be, I think. But this one is like, there's A and B, and honestly, the main character, like Rondo, Erdrick, whatever you want to call him, they look the same. Like A and B really does not look any different. But if you pick B, they'll say like she, her pronouns, but sometimes they'll say they, them. Like it's kind of confusing, honestly, if you don't know what's, it's like what's A and what's B. Because I wanted to have like a big like group of women like I did. Because Dragon Quest IX, I had a whole bunch of like tough ladies that were going around beating the shit out of people, and I wanted to do that. And the first, I was streaming this, so I was kind of like on the spot. So I was like, all right, well, what am I going to name my characters? So my other game, I had like a Storm character, like who was the mage. So I called her like Aurora Monroe, for the Storm from the X-Men comics. And I named my character that, but then I found out that you can't change your skin tone. So I have a white Storm running around, that's also kind of weird too. It's like we only have white people in this game. There's no, you can get different hairstyles, but there's no like darker skin tone, which I'm like,
that's a little weird.
Yeah, I don't know. It kind of reminded me of Final Fantasy 16, where they said there were no black people in Europe. If you remember that whole travesty, where Final Fantasy 16 didn't have any black people in it, and people were like, why are there no black people in there? And they're like, oh well, there's it's European. There's no black people there. It's like, that's not true.
At least it's not Resident Evil 5.
But I mean, it was pretty shitty that it was a fucking 2023 game and it has all white people in it. There's no, whatever. But yeah, it was like, I don't know, guys. So that was weird. I honestly found the Type A and Type B more confusing than anything else. Like I said, I really wish you could just choose however you want your character to look, and just choose your pronouns. Done. That's all we need.
Seems like it'd be as easy as just like replacing a word in the script.
Yeah, it did. They've done that in other games, like fucking the fucking farming game had it. That they did the whatever the fuck it's called. Remember the farming game where you fought the characters, the SquareSoft game. There was a demo.
I know what you're talking about. Harvestella.
Harvestella, yeah, Harvestella did it.
Yeah.
Like where you could choose pronouns and all that. Like that was right out front on that one. I'm saying they've done it in other Square games. It's just kind of like, I don't know.
It doesn't seem like
I understand they're trying, but it's also kind of like just put the pronoun option in there.
Do better, Square.
And the other thing that I think is fucking hilarious, the whole this is woke or whatever, is that the warrior. So the female version of the warrior class is wearing like really tiny shorts now. In the original game, she was not wearing shorts. She was wearing like a thong, and now she has like a thong over the shorts. But if you don't know this, you are never going to notice this ever. Like nobody would ever know that if you didn't tell them that. Like you could you can zoom in on the game during the battle, and you only see them standing in front of the monster at the very beginning of the battle. You would barely even see that exists. But they were just, trying to make it look a little bit less horny. So they gave her shorts under her thong. Like that's
and there's backlash.
Yes, and that's what some people are, whatever. If they're trying to be stupid about it, they're like, "Oh my God, you're censoring the game. You're like disrespecting Akira Toriyama."
I have a good idea.
Whatever,
How about you play the original version on the Famicom if that's what you want to play?
Yeah, it's stupid. I mean, and they added shorts, whatever, when he was still alive. It's just a dumb thing, and nobody's even going to notice that it's there if you don't know about it. If you don't have somebody screaming in your face about it. So, those are my. Those are what you're going to see about there. But I think it's great. Like I said, I put like 16 hours into it. I got the ship. Once you get the ship, you can kind of go wherever you want to go. And it doesn't really... Oh, and another really cool thing about it is... so now, since it's a little bit more streamlined, it'll tell you where to go, but you can actually turn that off if you want to if you just want to fuck around and you don't want to know like where the next goal is, which I thought was really interesting.
That is cool. Like that you can make your own hard mode or whatever.
Well, if you want to play it like the original one, because like the original one and the Game Boy Color and the Super Famicom one,
of course they didn't tell you what to do.
They never tell you where to go.
You had to talk to everyone to find it out.
Exactly, and they still do. They'll tell you where to go, but if you don't want to, worry about getting lost, there'll be like a little rotating circle around like wherever your next goal is, and it'll tell you whenever you pause to. It'll be like, hey, you got to go here and do this, or you got to go talk to this guy, or get this thing for that. It'll kind of like fill you in on what your
does it do any sort of like
are.
does it fill you in when you like load up your save file? I like when games.
Oh, like a previously on.
Uh-huh.
I mean, I haven't quit the game really, so I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't think so. But
I love
whenever
when games do that.
but whenever you pause the game, it'll say it in the menu, or when you look at the map, it'll say like what your objective is and where you're supposed to go. And you can zoom really easily anywhere. Like zooming is how you warp from one place to another. Every location you get to, including dungeons, you can zoom to. So it's like really easy to jump from one thing to another to another. That actually
you can zoom out of a dungeon now.
Yeah, that's another thing that I mean, I've only seen people complaining about that as a joke, but yeah, in the original Dragon Quest games, you couldn't zoom out of a dungeon because you'd hit your head on the ceiling, which I always thought was funny. And they actually say it in the game right up front. They're like, "Hey, you can zoom out of dungeons now. Convenient for you." They kind of make a joke out of it, like it's written into the script and all that. But yeah, you used to not be able to get out of dungeons. But there was another. I mean, there's another spell that you can do that's different from zoom, where it's called evacuate, where you can just leave the dungeon. Also, which is still in the game.
Which is what you would do. You would evacuate and then you would zoom.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what my cats do.
Mm-mm. Yeah, my cat zooms all the time.
After they poop.
Oh, your cat does that too? Yeah, Spooky runs away from his poop. He'll poop and then run around the house.
Evacuate, then zoom.
Yep. So I posted I posted the first couple hours of this on YouTube, and it's actually got some, it's got some decent views. And I got a comment, so I'm going to read it on here. The comment was from Yolfi123, and this is what they say. Can't say I like the graphics. I would have preferred it if they had done something similar to the new Live Alive, graphics closer to the 16-bit era, like Final Fantasy VI or Chrono Trigger. The movement and graphics seem cheap on this one, like a mobile game. So, Yolfi123, not impressed by the graphics of Dragon Quest III. And
sees it as though it were a mobile game, sadly.
I don't think it looks like a mobile game at all. I mean, if you want mobile games, they're on there. You can play the Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 mobile games, like we have them. Jeremy and I have them. They're on there.
I actually own it, yes.
Yeah. But I thought it was kind of funny. There was one part I was kind of, I got like stuck in one level, or I didn't know what to do, and I was like, you know what? Let's see if anybody has a. Basically, I went to find this boss, and when I got there, he dropped me down this trap door, and then I came back and he was gone. I was like, oh, what the fuck do I do? So I looked at a video of it on where he was. Basically, all I had to do was leave the dungeon, and he's waiting by the front door. But I was looking at this playthrough that somebody did, and the first comment is the same Yolfi guy again, telling them how bad the graphics look and how much he doesn't like it. So this guy's just going around from like Dragon Quest video to Dragon Quest video, just telling everyone about how much he doesn't like the graphics, which I thought was funny because I saw his comments on a whole bunch of different Dragon Quest videos and reviews like on YouTube, and I was like, oh, okay, this is what you're doing with your time. You're just going video to video, telling them all how much you don't like the way it looks. I was like, all right, cool. I don't know. Go play Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster or something like that, I guess, if that's what you want. So yeah, but I super recommend it. You probably can't get two $60 games back to back, but this one is definitely. And I don't normally put remakes on my end of the year list, but this one has been so revamped and redone that I think I can allow it because I'm definitely really enjoying it, and it does kind of make Dragon Quest III feel like a Super Nintendo game, even though it is an NES game. I think they did a lot to try to update it, and I really like the extra story beats, and they do try to make it more cinematic, and there's a lot of camera moves and stuff like that, and it looks great. You can tell they put a lot of effort into it, and I can't wait to play Dragon Quest 1 and 2 when it comes out in January of next year. I think it's right around the corner. So.
Oh, really? It's coming out that soon?
I thought it was coming out at the beginning of the year, is what I heard. I thought it was January 2025. But Dragon Quest is is a yearly game now. It's annualized. I was thinking about it because
some fashion.
Well, I mean, Dragon Quest 3 came out this year. Dragon Quest Monsters, Dark Prince last year. Dragon Quest Treasures last year. Year before that. Dragon Quest 1 and 2 remake next year.
I guess so, yeah.
Adventures of Dai came out this year as well, but it wasn't very good.
3.
And yeah, Dragon Quest Builders 2 probably came out the year before.
I want Builders 3.
Before
so
that,
bad.
so
those games are so good. I want Builders 3.
I'm just saying it's becoming
with
pretty frequent.
Or not cel shading, with ray tracing.
I still need to figure out what that is. Actually, I don't because I don't care. But
it's like it mimics the
when you trace your
way
rays.
light rays bounce around.
I think
So it's keeping track of a lot of stuff all at once, and that's why it's so graphics intensive.
But yeah, Dragon Quest III, super recommend. Fun stuff. I've been having a lot of fun with it. The this article that you put on here, John, about the Japanese clinic closing to let the Japanese people play Dragon Quest III.
Let the workers play. Yeah,
there was a line in it that made me chuckle. That was really funny. Let's see where it was. Yeah, it says we can't open the clinic because all of our staff, all of the staff have changed their jobs to hero, which is funny. Because the main character of Dragon Quest III, of course, well any main character of any Dragon Quest game
saying,
is always
no,
a hero
we cannot
class.
resurrect your loved one.
Yeah, but it's the main character is always the hero class, so I thought that was funny. And you can't change the class of Erdrick or Rondo, whatever your main dude is. They can't change their class. They're just always the same class. You just change everybody else around you. And they don't really... All the other characters are just kind of there just for backup. Like, they don't have stories or anything. They don't say anything. They're just there to help you fight through people. But, you give... What is that? You give them different names. I made my my monster wrangler. I named her Misty after Misty from Pokemon. Mm-hmm. And then my warrior was Nyla, named after Nyla Rose from AEW, obviously. But I turned her into she's a martial artist now. I actually switched that around too, she's pretty tough. Like I figured I'd stick around maybe she'll be the one that I change, because I'm afraid to change the monster wrangler, because I want to keep being able to find the monsters. And you can still find them without the wranglers. It's just a little bit more difficult. Like there's this item that you can use that kind of draws them to you, but they can possibly run away from you, and they'll never run away from you if you have a monster wrangler with you. It's like the idea. They're always they always feel, safe or whatever. And and you send them to some dude who takes care of them, and then you can go talk to him, and then you can use them to fight people or whatever. So that's the way it works. But yeah, I'm hoping to get through this one before the end of the year, because it's cool. It's a nice looking game, and considered by many, mostly Japan has it up there as like one of the greatest games of all time. So. Mm-hmm. It's nice to see the remake finally coming out, and with the passing of Kiri Toriyama and all that, it's nice to see that artwork looking all super shiny in HD. So high.
I hope to get it at some point. I do really want to play it, and I literally put off playing 3 to play this version. So it's what's holding me back.
This is definitely the definitive version of 3, and I haven't gotten there, but from what I've heard, the bonus dungeons that were in the Game Boy Color game are in this as well. Oh, cool. Whereas the mobile version that was on Switch did not have those on there. Like any of the additional stuff
makes sense, was
not included. So I guess the any of the bonus shit, if you had the Game Boy Color version, you can play that as well. So that's cool. So I don't know, because the only one I beat was the Game Boy Color one. I don't remember if I did much of the post game stuff, but we'll see how long this one takes, and maybe I'll try to get into some of that stuff too. So that'll be fun. But that's good for me. I guess we'll take a break, and we can
talk
about everything else.
Hey, you.
It's me, Mario.
Yeah, you. Subscribe to our Patreon to hear our bonus shows, which happen every month.
I'm tired.
Tired of all the big corporate podcasts spoon-feeding you the same old video game news on every single show?
Spaghetti. Ravioli.
Then expand!
With NintenDomain Expansion Pack.
It's us talking about old games that were important to us. It's us interviewing people that we meet at conventions. And heck, it's live shows from those same conventions. It's basically everything you could want that NintenDomain ever made.
Here we go! And it's just $1 a month.
That's less than a bad indie on the eShop.
It's $12 a year, which is less than Nintendo Switch Online.
Thank you so much for subscribing to our Patreon and supporting NintenDomain.
Just go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast and, hey, Mario, let go. Whoa! He's throwing us back to the show.
So long, Bowser.
Patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast.
Game over.
We're back from the break. How's the Grand Theft Auto remaster going? You finally got to try that out?
Yeah, I tried that out, and as soon as I turned it on, it was like, wow, that's different. It just looks so much better.
So you haven't played it in a while?
Actually, I played it about a month ago last.
Okay. So was it just some gigantic update file that came out of nowhere, or what was it?
Yeah, it was just an out of nowhere.
We talked. Yeah, we talked about it last week. I think it had just dropped for Switch like last week. And like a couple days before for other systems. But I guess from my understanding, I watched the Switch Up video that they did about it. They kind of brought it back more to the way it looked like on PS2, right? There was a lot of stuff they had taken out, and it looks it looks better because of that.
It looks better, yeah. So among the issues of the original release of this was that basically they eliminated the fog and the lighting was different, and by doing so, it just made the whole place look more like toyetic, almost like a bad.
You're just walking through a diorama.
Correct. It was like a bad version of Echoes of Wisdom or something. Like this landscape that's supposed to be epic and sprawling. I'm talking specifically about San Andreas because that's the one I played the most of. It just looks so small, and like you can see the whole thing. Like you could stand on top of a building and you could see the entire game, which just kind of ruined it. But now with this update, now they've implemented the fog and implemented better lighting. And when I say fog, I'm not saying in the sort of negative connotation of the N64 days or whatever. I mean, it's like properly implemented. It's like
dramatic. It's like dramatic.
Yeah,
fog.
It looks good.
It makes it look better. Yeah,
you don't see something 2 miles of clarity.
Right. If you've lived in LA or spent time in LA, there's a haze there. It doesn't look like LA without the haze at some points. But yeah, this actually it looks good. Like there's a gradient to this guy, and the clouds look better, which is just hugely important because it's to get the sky right, because that's the one thing that you're seeing everywhere. Wherever you are in the game constantly.
I mean, did they alter character models and everything, or was it mostly just like the environment?
Mostly the environment. I know that they corrected. They continued correcting bugs and stuff, which could be extended to.
But like, are you able to continue a save file, for instance? Like, it didn't have to completely restart, did it?
No, I don't think so. You can.
Oh no. Yeah, I picked it up with my save file. Yep.
Yeah, because I do wonder sometimes the huge overhauls. It might break a save file.
Yeah, no, my save file was fine. But you remember, like, one of the big comical moments that was kind of viral, and I actually saw it too, was in San Andreas. there was a moment where your friend pulls up in the car and he's got fingers that are 3 feet long, like
Silent fingers.
Yeah, it was just he'd like waving them around. He's gesturing and got these giant fingers, you know. So that's what I was talking about at the opening there. But yeah, they've corrected all that stuff. So yes, you could say they've improved character models because random weird things like that don't happen anymore. And
The models behave as they're supposed to.
right.
Or
Actually,
more so.
they did specifically alter some of the character models in this. I'm remembering now because one of the other critiques was like CJ, the main character in San Andreas. Sometimes he would just look kind of strange. Like if he was riding a bike specifically, he looked like he had a hunchback.
Oh yeah, I saw some of that too. Yes,
that wasn't the case in the original, and so now it just looks better.
Okay.
Yeah,
they really did like
the bike.
I mean,
stuff
they did
different.
like he had just aged to me. Was really what it was. They just kept it. It's the original. He's just a lot older now.
He was just you get your hunchback when you're 27.
He rode a chopper far too long, and now he's like, oh god. Or those aren't the ones you lean forward. Never mind. Don't listen to me. I don't know about motorcycles.
Chopper's the one with the big handles. The big.
That's what I thought.
Like
but
the
you're probably
original
more leaning back.
the sissy bars as they call them, but the original Ghost Rider.
I'm thinking of the smaller bikes where you have to lean, maybe like mini bikes.
The 70s Ghost Rider had a
Ninjas.
chopper.
Yeah. What else was I gonna say? I don't know. It's just great. Another thing is the controls are updated too. So now you can run and gun. You couldn't do that before with some of the larger weapons.
I'm surprised you couldn't even like run and shoot stuff. Like it's kind of a major. I don't know. Was that in the original one?
With the larger ones, with larger weapons, you couldn't. With the pistol, you could. With some larger weapons, you couldn't. Now you can. And I think that was the case in the original game. I don't remember, but then they updated the gyro. Gyro just feels better too.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they added gyro, right? Which is
gyro was there before, but there was like this lock-on, like automatic lock-on aiming system that didn't quite work because the original update. My understanding is that it was based on the mobile games, and like they ported the mobile games to the modern platforms. Went some backwards way about it. I don't know. Overall, my whole impression with the trilogy as the original release was that it was like a stopgap kind of thing, because at that point, the original trilogy re-release came out in 2021. Now at that point, they hadn't had Rockstar hadn't had a new game in 3 years, like not since Red Dead 2. They had DLC and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like there was delays in GTA 6, and they were like, well, we need to put out something, make some money. And so they just finally went and did the trilogy, but I think they did a rush job on it. So that's my inclination. Just like the developer was of the port in 2021 was Grove Street Games, and they caught a lot of flack because it was just like it was really messy, as we all remember. And I think the likely case is that this whole thing was a rush job. They were probably working under the gun, and they probably, got that criticism unfairly because of that. It's a little bit shitty right now because with this update, they removed Grove Street Games from the splash page. They're still credited in the game later on, but it used to be like when you booted up the game, there they were alongside Rockstar, and it said Grove Street Games, the guys who did this.
So it's almost like you were doing a project for Dad, and then you did bad, and then Dad's like, "Get out of here!" and I'm gonna make this back to what I thought it should. It's like
yeah. But in this case, I think it's like Dad gave you a really unrealistic timeline.
Right. Dad's like, "All right, you know what? You can have a car when you're 16. Go in the garage, build it by next week, and that's your car." And then you don't, and then he's like, "Get out of here! I'm building my own car," and he just buys a car.
That's pretty much it, I think. That's my suspicion. I mean, it sounds, we all know about game industry stuff and the woes and all that, and the things that are forced on people and unrealistic deadlines and all that. I think that's probably what happened. So everybody lay off Grove Street Games a little bit.
Leave them alone.
They probably didn't deserve all that.
Leave Grove Street alone.
Yeah.
That is
So-
sad. I mean, you know what? Like, they probably were the lowest bidder or whatever because they were off. They were offloading it to someone else to port it. It
I
was
was-
a rush job, and then they probably you're right. They gave them way too big of a thing to do and way
Right.
too little time.
I was kind of wondering too, what's their relation with Rockstar? Because Grove Street is the name of the street in San Andreas that CJ lives on.
Oh right.
And so, like, was it like a little, enclave of Rockstar that they officially, a studio?
I mean, the fact that CJ
just
lives
did
on
this
it
or what? Yeah,
is but I'm going to say like there's a Grove Street like just a couple blocks from me, so that's a pretty common street name.
I'm sure it was a
I've seen a lot
reference
of
to the
Grove
game,
Streets
though.
in my life.
I mean, it's it's the guy's street.
yeah. I don't know. Well, what do you guys think about this update news? Like, does it
I
make
almost-
you feel like getting the game more?
I almost considered maybe thinking about buying it because it's on sale for $30.
Yeah, so it is on sale again with the sale with everything else.
and that's
So-
totally worth it. I think $10
But-
for each game.
The thing is, I played the only one I really wanted to play bunch was because I've played enough of Vice City and so I wanted to play more of San Andreas.
Yeah.
'Cause that's the one I'd played least, and that it was several months ago, but it was on PS Plus, and I played it a bunch, and I kind of got my fill of everything. And really, sadly, when I want to go back to, I just want to boot up 5 because 5's the best one, and I kind of need to give 4 more of a chance because I played it a lot when that's all I had to play before 5 came out, but I hear a lot of people still consider that to be the best one for some reason. I
Really?
think they like the guy asking you to bowl with them.
They like bowling. It has bowling.
Well,
in it.
there's just a meme with that where like your cousin's just bugging the shit out of you constantly to hang out with him.
That
And he's
sounds
kind of
not
your
fun.
like first connection in the game, so he is pretty important. But I never actually like progressed the story any more than I had to just to play the game, like the mini games and stuff.
You never hung out with them.
And I always use the cheat codes, so then I just go on rampages, and that's all I end up doing.
Yeah, I never actually owned any of the games before this, and so that was my experience. Just going on rampages and
So
stuff.
have you played through 5?
Nope, I've never played it once.
Oh shit, you're gonna love that game whenever
Yeah.
you get around to play it. When
That's
it's
another-
released, Switch 2 or whatever.
So I've decided that I'm going to get.
It could be on
It's
Switch
gonna
1.
be like on a microwave oven.
It could have been
before.
on Switch
It's
1.
on
It's a
Switch.
PS3 game. like
Yeah, it should have been on
it
Switch.
doesn't need
It's pretty
it
ridiculous.
doesn't need
It's
an
gonna become,
upgrade to
it's gonna
run.
become the new Doom because it's kind of like Rockstar's.
It's a fucking 360 game.
Rockstar's Mario Kart 8. When you think about it,
Yeah, it's an old ass game. It's as old as Mario. Isn't it like a little bit older than Mario Kart 8, or they're
It
about
is.
the
It's a
same
year
age?
older.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they're both old.
I mean, what do you think? What do you think are the odds that GTA 6 would be on Switch 2, or that
0.
Switch 2 would even? Be
I
0?
don't think it's gonna happen. No.
0.
Yeah, because I was considering that too, and like I want
'Cause
to play.
I don't
6.
even think that it's going to be able to run like as much as I want to play it. On what I already own, I'm already thinking maybe
You
it's
might
not
need
gonna
you
run
might
too
need
good
a
on a
Pro or
baseline
something.
PS5.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
That's sort of the expectation that's being given with how it keeps getting pushed back. But I bet it's also getting pushed back because they're still making a shit ton of money off GTA 5. That was a cash
Right.
cow for them.
yeah, true.
And it's a great game, and it costs a lot of money to make, and had high production values and stuff. But
But it
You
also
know,
made
and
$1
it's from a
billion
different
on
time.
day one.
yeah,
So
I mean, I
think
bought it. I went and bought it
broke even
physical
day
at the
one.
store day one.
Yeah. So I'll get GTA 6. I'll say that publicly, which would mean I would have to get a PS5, presumably the Pro, at $700.
I imagine you're at
For
that
one
point
game?
you're probably going to be better poised to play it on your computer because these new Macs. I don't know if you've watched anything about these new Macs, but they seem pretty incredible.
Which
Well,
ones?
I mean, I got my Mac. My Mac can't even play 5. And I got my
Yeah.
Mac like 2 years ago.
And you're probably not going to have it for. I mean, are you going to keep playing for the next 2 years? I guess you probably.
you
wanna
probably
keep
don't
your
want to
machine
drop
for these
another
5 years.
$5,000 on another Mac.
Yeah, I kept my last Mac for 10 years.
The other
So-
thing is like graphics are changed. Like the way offloading graphic processing to other things. Like
If you want to play on a Power PC, get a PC one. It's way cheaper than Macs. Macs are overpriced.
that new Mac Mini is pretty compelling.
What is it? $10,000?
No, it's like $300, and it's
I mean, but what's
nearly as good as an iMac, like a current gen iMac.
I mean, what's
It's just this little tiny thing you plug
Well,
in.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
It's like a
$300.
better. It's like a better Apple TV plus, or not plus, but Apple TV. Which I've got the Apple TV, and that costs $150.
Mm. Well, the Mac Minis have been a
Computer,
thing for a
it's their
while,
TV, yeah.
but it's the first time that they've like kind of seemed legit because the price point versus what they do is like matching up in a good way.
Right.
Whatever that is. So
I mean, but it doesn't
not
have
one or
like
nothing, but
doesn't
just
have
to
like
have
a screen
access
or
to all
anything,
the
right?
like, just to have like a PC sort of access to the ecosystem. Considering I have an iPhone and an iPad, like, would be nice, but I don't want to spend a couple $1,000s on an Apple computer if I don't have to. But that's something I'm thinking about for a few years away, whenever I do my next computer.
Well, another thing. Moving on from Grand Theft Auto, I was on Nintendo.com the other day, and every once in a while, when you're using that site and you go to explore around, whatever, it'll pop up and say, "Hey, when you're done, do you want to take a survey?" And I suggest that next time that pops up for you guys, actually do it, because the survey has changed, and I have to say it's really robust. Like, if you want an opportunity to tell Nintendo what you think or tell them what's what, yeah, you can do it with this survey. It probably took me a good at least 20 minutes, and there was I think 30 to 40 questions, and it was just interesting because I think it provides some insight into like what they're gonna do in the near future or how they want to engage with customers differently. In this era when they're opening up and trying new things and opening movies and theme parks and all that kind of stuff, it just seems like, yeah, this is a little bit more of that new Nintendo, which is kind of cool. One of the things I was asked about was physical rewards, and I don't know if you've also checked out the physical rewards recently, but it's actually getting pretty.
I mean, there are some.
Yeah, it's not quite Club Nintendo levels, but it's like, I would say it's halfway between where it was and like recently, which is like bad, but then up to Club Nintendo, it's like halfway in between. It's like there's some good stuff there, and there's kind of a lot of it. Totally worth checking out if you got some.
So, but I just got completely turned off by physical rewards from Nintendo
because it's
Take
hard,
a look,
because it's really hard to get it.
Well, no, it's like I bought the
pins.
3 All-Stars. I should got those pins. That's why I bought it physical.
Yeah.
I know there's some good stuff on there now.
Yeah, they should have given pins to everyone for that. That was really stupid on their part.
So they asked me, like, what do you like about the website, and what do you want to change? I just said physical rewards as much as I possibly could. I said it over and over again. And then they even asked, like, what type of physical rewards do you like? Do you like, clothes, or you like pins, or what do you like? So I think they're considering, going back to kind of a Club Nintendo type level.
Nintendo brand body jewelry.
Yeah. I said, I want, give me those like special year-end rewards again, because that was really cool. Like when you reached a certain level and you got, I got the little resin statue over here with all the Mario characters, still have that. Or the plush hat, the Mario hat. All that kind of stuff was really cool.
I got that too, still right over here.
What else did they ask me about? They asked me about what features I liked about NSO, what I wanted from the service, Nintendo series that I liked the most, whether I wanted to see video content on Nintendo.com. I said, sure, that's cool. So maybe bring back Nintendo Minute or some form of that.
Let's get some more of those Pikmin movies.
Yeah, get back on it, Mr. Miyamoto.
I think they're
some
on
little
YouTube.
Pikmin shorts. This was really interesting too. They asked me if I wanted to send them a video with my thoughts on the website. And there was an opportunity where you could start recording a video and send Nintendo your thoughts.
Weird.
I didn't do it.
Do you have to do it through their party, or can you upload a video?
No, there was just like a little.
You have to shoot it on the Game Boy camera. Do you have to use?
I was gonna say it'd be hilarious if you did a really carefully crafted YouTube video just for them to watch.
I mean, I suppose you could figure out a way to, hold up your phone to your camera or whatever if you wanted to.
Or do you like if you're doing it through your
Use your
computer,
3DS
you
camera.
could just run your camera. Yeah, run your video feed through Elgato.
If you take a look at the outline there, I put a photo of the screenshot when it asked me for a video. I thought that was just like, oh, that's different.
That's strange.
So they asked my thoughts on My Nintendo, which is the shop and all that. I'll read you that quote that I sent them. I said, I'd like a return to the days of Club Nintendo, a large variety of physical rewards. Personally, I'd like to see more recreations of classic Game & Watch games like the ball game that you released back in 2012 or so. Also, I think it'd be cool to recreate some old Nintendo toys like the old the Nelsonic wristwatches, like the one Jeremy has, the Zelda one.
Mm-hmm.
Old Happy Meal toys or the Hasbro statues from the late 80s. And I said if you could bring back Nintendo's cereal system as a reward so I could finally try something, that'd be great. Plus, not that great, but great in one sense, but probably terrible and certainly bad for your stomach.
Even as a kid, I was disappointed.
I mean, they have you can buy Mario, like pasta in a can or whatever. There is Nintendo shit
just
out
eat that
there.
for breakfast.
Just
And
not,
the toy
just
was
not,
like this really shitty,
just not
plastic
cereal.
pinball machine where you shoot the little balls up and then they land in the thingies, but they were little candy. They were little sugar candies, so I ate all of them really fast. Didn't play anymore.
I was saying they have plenty of Nintendo food, just not cereal specifically.
Yeah, you can get Nintendo SpaghettiOs.
Yeah, you can get SpaghettiOs. You can get Nintendo fruit snacks. Like they're out there. I've seen them.
Nintendo ham hocks. No, not really.
And so the last thing that was kind of pointing to, I think their new intentions was that actually the My Nintendo area has been redesigned so that the rewards are now organized by category with physical rewards, like receiving its own category. I think they're just planting the seeds to do something a little bit bigger, a little bit different, and hopefully going back to the days of Club Nintendo. So yeah, check it out. And if you get asked to do that survey, do it, because I thought it was pretty interesting.
I originally thought you were talking about the surveys that they send you about video games, which I just don't do because they're all the same and they're really boring.
I remember we used to do
like the email ones, but I've never seen these website ones because I don't really. They've never been sent to me.
Didn't you used to have to fill out a little survey to claim your Nintendo rewards on your
when
you buy a game?
Yeah, that's why I don't do the surveys anymore, because I miss when you actually got stuff from doing them. I guess I don't think they even give you points anymore. You don't even get platinum points anymore from doing them, right? From doing surveys about the games that you bought. I don't think you get shit. So what's the point? It seems like a waste of time to me.
And we were trying to unlock, because they had games you could unlock and stuff.
Yeah, I remember. Towards the end of
the
it,
WarioWare game. We got the
Well, towards the end of it, I was trying to get the Majora's Mask bag, which I didn't end up getting. And I remember I just went to GameStop and I just pulled all of the game codes out of the used games because they're all there and they don't care. I asked them if I could do it, and they were like, "Yeah, whatever." So so I had to do all these surveys about Party Babies and all these games that I've never played, but I just made up shit about it.
What's your favorite game?
I'm like, oh yeah, sure, yeah, no, I bought it or whatever. So I just want to get through it for the points, and I did get enough points. But yeah, I've never seen any of the Nintendo website stuff. And the cheapest.
The last good reward I got was New Super Mario Brothers 2.
Yeah, but no, it was cool when you could actually get games, like Jeremy was saying. We got WarioWare Touched, and what was it there was the Twilight Princess Picross or whatever you could get for your 3DS. Too. That was cool when you could actually get stuff. Or speaking of Nintendo rewards, I got the Majora's Mask double disc 1 year, that was cool. Or you could or like I said when we talked about Nintendo Music, the Wii U 3DS double disc that you could get from buying those games, and you send in your points, and yeah, you get all sorts of cool shit. So
I found my Super Mario Galaxy soundtrack CD in my case. I forgot I still had it. So I've got that little bonus.
That's cool. Well, let's just cut to the news.
News. Don't snooze or you miss the news.
Yeah, there were a couple things that released this week. Stray is out now, if anybody cared.
saw
the
that.
game about the cat. I watched a review of it. It looked okay. I mean, I don't see myself buying it, but it's $30. It came out. Life is Strange Double Exposure. Never played any of those games, but there's another one of those coming out for $50. And I just put it down because it's hilarious. There's a game called Jet Combat Cats vs. Dogs Military Simulator for $8. Just look into that game. It's hilarious. It's a dog fighting if you were actually a dog or a cat. It looks like the trashiest trash game of all time. But it's available. It's out there. But yeah, the Game Awards were announced, as we said. Some, like we said earlier, some of them got multiple ones, like Balatro got a few.
The fact that it's nominated for Game of the Year, crazy.
It's pretty huge, right? Yeah, I mean, has
really
there ever
crazy.
been like an indie game on Game of the Year? I don't think so for this.
I mean, let alone this game is, you can just play it on mobile. Like, it's so simplified.
It's everywhere.
It can be anywhere.
Yeah, so Game of the Year, Astrobot, Balatro, Black Myth, Wukong. I thought it was interesting adding DLC to Game of the Year just so they could put Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree on there, obviously.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and Metaphor Refantastic. Metaphor got a lot of nominations too.
It did.
So that's the main Game of the Year. No, I mean the only Nintendo
I think it's going to be
thing on there is
lot of
Balatro.
number ones.
What do you think Game of the Year? Balatro? That would be pretty wild.
I think
it's probably going to be
I think
Elden
Metaphor
Ring.
is going to get Game of the Year.
Really? Okay. Well,
absolutely.
I mean, last year, what was it predicted last year? Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it did win. So yeah, maybe you'll. So I shouldn't bet against you because you won last time. So.
And also
we have the
Black Myth Wukong's a great game, but like people kept saying like it was derivative of like a lot of the Souls games and stuff. And even though it was like not gameplay wise the same, I think it got a lot of shade for that. So even if it is a great game in its own right, I think it's also like it comes out of like a relatively unknown studio in China, so there wasn't a whole lot of like history to research, and I think it just kind of got bad press, even though supposedly it's a pretty awesome game and it looks really, really good. I don't know if you've watched a video of that game, but
I haven't seen anything of it. I know that people liked it because it was,
and it follows the journey to the west.
I know that, and that people liked it because it looked impressive. But I heard it still doesn't run that well on PS5 though. Like you need a pretty souped up PC to get it to run well.
That might be working against it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was kind of a thing. I mean, it looks great, but you need a pretty powerful thing to get it going.
I wonder, do a lot of people like? I mean, to me, like I not being a follower of the genre and whatever. Like, I don't really know what Metaphor Refantasio is. I know that some folks are talking about it, and like, I wonder,
I'd be surprised if that one won just because of. I mean, yeah, people talk about it in like our circles
Is
that
the
we
new
listen
Dragon
to.
Age in Game of the Year?
No, it's not. No Veilguard in there, which is
because that was sort of
surprising.
going to be like.
A lot of
I think
people
a lot
like
of people
that.
were hoping that would be like the Baldur's Gate 3 this year, but I think Metaphor is going to win. I think because Persona is just so like ubiquitous across the board. Like,
But I don't think with the Game Awards though. I mean, I would say they don't give anything to Japanese games, but they
you're
do give
right
stuff
though.
to like
I
Elden
didn't
Ring.
think about that
But it's not really like
because it's actually based on people voting and shit. So
I don't know.
like,
I mean,
like domestically.
I don't know. I just didn't. I mean, from like people that I listen to, like in my, like I said, in my circles, but they don't give a shit about Black Myth Wukong or whatever else that's on there.
Well, no, that's the thing.
But a lot of people
just think
have
it got shit on probably more than it deserved because it's a AAA quality game. That game just kind of came out of an unknown studio, and I think it's huge in its home country in China. I think it did really well, and that's a huge portion of the gaming population. But at the same time, I don't know. Yeah, we're talking Mr. Jeff Keighley or whatever. Like,
I'm betting on Shadow of the Erdtree to be Game of the Year. I just find it. I mean,
That's
just specifically that he made
I
sure.
like it.
I mean, but he announced that they're adding DLC stuff so they could put it on there, and it's got like 7 nominations. So I mean, I think it's going to be Shadow of the Erdtree.
So is it really? the DLC is up for Game of the Year.
Yes.
That's fucked up. I don't like that.
It was a whole. He made an
that.
announcement about it before he announced the nominees. Was that DLC is considered can be considered a game. So they could put Elden Ring on there specifically. That's why I think that's gonna get a lot of stuff.
Okay,
maybe they should.
I didn't realize that.
But maybe they should have said, like, rather than saying the DLC is the game of the year.
Now I just want Balatro to win.
Well, they have a category for
I do think that would be cool.
Game.
I think it'd be cool if Balatro won.
They've got a category for best ongoing game. So, I mean, like, why not just say, okay, rather than DLC is eligible now, like...
Do they have a best
if
DLC?
You can say if
category?
a game has a DLC, that's significant or whatever, it can be re-nominated and say Elden Ring is the game of the year again because it had this beefy DLC.
Say they didn't do that for the Cyberpunk DLC, and it was incredible, and it was
right.
It should have been, if this was up for contention for Game of the Year, then that should have been last year.
That was like ongoing game or something. It was still up there, like the Cyberpunk thing was, but it was up there in a weird way. You know, it was like I think it was ongoing game, which is kind of hilarious because it's not like it's not like an ongoing game like Fortnite. It's just ongoing because it took forever for them to fix it or whatever, to make it actually working, so.
Here's a question. What Nintendo game should be in here? Because there's no Nintendo
For Game of the Year?
For Game of the Year. What Nintendo game? Is there one?
Well, there's games that are on Nintendo, but not Nintendo published. I don't know, because I just started playing the Zelda game, so.
I like Echoes of Wisdom, but
this year.
I like Echoes of Wisdom, but I don't know if it's Game of the Year. I don't know.
Maybe family or creativity or something. So far, I would say the design's nice.
It is. I mean, it is on here somewhere. Like it was.
It definitely feels like a Nintendo game, to the core and how it works.
It's on Best Action Adventure. Zelda Echoes of Wisdom against Astrobot, Prince of Persia, Silent Hill, Star Wars Outlaws. Prince of Persia is actually $20 now too, on sale.
Too bad we'll never get a sequel to that game. The Prince of Persia game that I haven't played yet.
Yeah, it's good though.
What were the other big Nintendo games of this year earlier though? Like that could have been in contention. I don't really know if there was one.
I mean, Nintendo directly. I mean, check the best family games on here. that's where you'll find them.
Yeah.
So and best family games it has Astrobot, Princess Peach Showtime, Super Mario Party Jamboree, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, The Plucky Squire. I mean, I like that Super Mario Party Jamboree actually got a few nominations. It's on multiplayer also, best multiplayer. I mean, I think that's a damn good game. But I mean, as far as directly from Nintendo, I don't know. I mean,
they kind of Echoes of Wisdom's great, but I really feel like Tears of the Kingdom was Nintendo's big push.
Well, yeah, that was
the system, last big push, and it's sports and second parties or third parties developing stuff for them this year. It seems.
Yeah, it's all just kind of put some stuff out to keep keep stuff on there, but our main companies aren't working on it. Let's do all these side people putting it together. This is what it seems like.
What 1,000 Year Door came out and that got great reviews, but of course that's a port.
That's a port.
How about let's not do all the categories, but some interesting ones.
Yeah, we don't have to do all of them because there's a lot of them. But I mean,
best independent game? It's Animal Well, Balatro, Lorelei and the Laser Eyes, Neva, and UFO 50. That's a good lot there.
I really want to play UFO 50.
I want to play UFO 50. I will say Animal Well, damn good game.
That's probably. I
love the shit out of it.
It's got to go Balatro, yeah.
For
There's
independent,
Balatro.
But Balatro at this point, knowing how, and just remembering how it's basically just Jeff Keighley's show. It's I kind of want Balatro to sweep, just because it's anybody can play it. What the hell is this? It'd be download it on your phone. You can play it now.
Yeah, I would think that
There you
Balatro would be indie. Well, this is like debut indie game, right? Because they're saying that so debut means that this is like the first from the
Well,
company, right?
there's two
From that
categories.
company,
There's
what it
best
means.
independent game, which is the ones that I just read
Oh
off,
yeah,
and there's
the debut indie.
debut
game.
indie game, which is Animal Well, Balatro, Manor Lords, Pacific Drive, and the Plucky Square.
Yeah. So yeah, debut indie game is it's the first one from the company. Is what it means. But yeah, I just saw that one before the other one. I would, Balatro. I mean, Balatro is like in the conversation with everyone, and it's on everything. And I'd be surprised if it doesn't make best indie game on here. I really would. Can you vote yet on here? Like, I haven't gone through and voted on anything. I just looked at all the categories. I haven't really voted on anything yet.
What do we think is going to be the most anticipated game? I ask, knowing the answer. Death Stranding 2, Ghost of Yotai, Grand Theft Auto 6, that's the one, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, or Monster Hunter Wilds.
Oh, Monster Hunter! Monster Hunter's a big one though, and Monster Hunter actually has a release date. Auto, though. Yeah,
I mean, there's no way it's not Grand Theft Auto. It's been since 2013, since the last release, and people are buying the PS4 Pro at $700 just to prepare for this game. And apologies to Metroid Prime 4. I know there's a lot of people waiting for that one, but
that's the only one that. Well, I mean, Monster Hunter. I mean, if I was, if I was voting for it, I'd say Monster Hunter Wilds. That's the one that I care about the most. Well, actually, I care about Metroid Prime 4 the most. But out of all the other things, I don't give a shit. But Monster Hunter Wilds and Metroid Prime 4 are cool. I don't know what Ghost of Yotai is. Isn't that the sequel to the other Ghost game? Machine.
It's a sequel to the 1989 Patrick Swayze movie.
Oh no, not that one.
Yeah, Ghost of the Clay Guy. I couldn't think of a joke.
Patrick
Ghost of
Swayze.
Tsushima. I don't know. I never played that. I actually had it on because it was like a free game that I could play on the PS5 for a little while, and I played it for a bit, but it wasn't really striking my fancy, so don't care too much about it.
Pokemon TCG Pocket made it to best mobile game in that category.
That's cool.
That's good. Against Balatro again, Wuthering Waves, Endless Zone Zero. I've heard of that one. AFK Journey. Is that like when you leave your keyboard and it's like a whole game? Like you walk around the house and you're not playing? That's what AFK Journey is. When you guys didn't get that, that's what you say in multiplayer games when you leave.
There was a whole. Yeah, I know. I know all about AFK on Minecraft. You would make an AFK machine where you would, because like on the server, you would get disconnected if your character stopped moving for a certain amount of time. So you made these AFK machines that were essentially like something you would stand on that would keep you moving with like the way the water flowed or whatever, so that your character would keep moving even though you weren't there. And that's how your crops would continue to grow and all that stuff.
So Echoes of Wisdom does appear in Best Action Adventure.
I said that about
we did
10 minutes ago.
Oh, yeah.
when we were talking about which Nintendo
I was just
game
echoing
should be in the main one. I said that already.
Now we all have that wisdom.
Best adaptation, Fallout probably, right? It's definitely not Like a Dragon. I didn't ever watch any other episodes. I watched one and that was enough. I don't need to see any more of that show. I would bet on Fallout for best adaptation this year, right? That seems to be I've never seen it, but that's one that people like the most.
Yeah, they made the most buzz. I mean, my parents watched it. So, yeah, if that wins.
I'd like to see Super Mario Party Jamboree win best multiplayer, but I don't know. It's up against Helldivers 2 was a really big one. Like a lot of people still play that. I mean, Tekken 8 was great too. I keep forgetting that was this year because it came out so early. That's like my main killer app for the PS5 is Tekken 8. That's like the one game I want to play. I bet you anything it'll be a Switch 2 launch title. Tekken 8 will be like Tekken Tag Tournament all over again.
It'll be Potekken. Let's
do the RPG games, best role-playing games. Dragon's Dogma 2. Oh yeah, that came out this year too. That's another one I forgot about. Shadow of the Erdtree. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Infinite Wealth. There's Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. Look at that. There's a Yakuza thing in there. Metaphor ReFantasio.
Can you get is Infinite Wealth on the PS4?
Yes, it is.
I figured it would be.
The actually the new one's coming to PS4 as well. The Majima pirate one is also coming to PS4. But I promised myself that I would not buy any more Yakuza games until I finish the ones I already have. So
Fair enough.
So I got a lot to get through. I'd have to beat.
That's what your mom always told you when you were little. You got to finish your Yakuza games before you have more Yakuza games.
Exactly. That's what I tell myself because I have a lot of them that I haven't played all the way through. I mean, I got the Ishin one and barely even played that one. So got to beat the other ones. Got to beat. I never, still got Kiwami, so I got that on there. So yeah, action adventure. That's the only one that one's on. I always never understood the difference between best action and best action adventure. What shouldn't it be like best adventure and best action or something instead of? It's the same thing, action adventure.
I would think that the action is more like in the lines of like an arcade game versus action adventure is like, throw in a story and have some, little plot to it, whatever. But I don't know. I guess it's not very clear because they got like Black Myth Wukong, which I would think that looked like an action adventure game to me.
Well, there's like 3 games in the best action category that are like shooters.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. I don't understand those categories. When it says
this is
action,
all a little nebulous.
When it says action, I would think like, I don't know, like a Bayonetta or something like that, or like Devil May Cry.
Right.
That's what I think of when I think of action games. And for action adventure, I think of like Legend of Zelda, like that sort of thing. That's the way I think of it. I thought it was pretty cool to see Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection in the best fighting game, even though it's just a collection of old fighting games. But hey, it's great, and it's good that it got nominated. So I was happy to see that on there.
I don't want to go into each of these categories necessarily, but one thing I do want some insight on as to their process here at the Game Awards is how do they pick people for categories like best esports athlete or best esports team or best content creator? Like, what's their process out of all the thousands and thousands of people that do these things?
Well, they probably got to get like nominated, right? Or enough people have to like send in their name or whatever. I don't know, for consideration or whatever. That's what I'm guessing. Like, if it's like best esports team, it should be a tournament that they have to win to be nominated.
Right. There should be some structure to them, rising up to the top or whatever. That would make sense.
So I don't know. Yeah, I never really know any of those or pay attention to any of them, but I figured it's like enough people. Maybe there has to be a certain amount of people that recommend it or whatever, or send. I don't know how it works.
Yep.
But Billy Gaming is definitely my favorite.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I've had my eye on him.
Yeah. That's a team. That's a bunch of people.
Oh.
It's 2 Billies. Billy. No, I don't know. I don't know anything about those. It's funny to look at these because a lot of them are like, oh, that one came out this year? Man, I forgot about that. We got WWE 2K24 and Best Sports Racing. Like, that was one that came out really early, too, that I almost forgot about. Strategy, Unicorn Overlords in there. Remember that game? Like, that was really early this year. I almost forgot about that one, too. A lot of these, it's like, oh, yeah, that one even came out? Wow.
In any case, I look forward to not watching this whole ceremony and just reading a quick rundown the next day.
Yeah, you guys never watch it. You're no fun.
No.
I'm telling you, Switch 2, they've been waiting to announce it at the Game
Awards. Totally.
It's
that sounds like a very Nintendo thing.
That'd be hilarious.
Put the launch of their next console in the hands of somebody else. Yep.
Well, they'll come on the stage or the side stage or whatever, I hope it's just as confusing this time, where they do like awards on the side and they give about 10 awards away during the commercials, and then at the end when somebody tries to give a speech, they play them off in 2 seconds and then talk about how they wish there were more games coming out in 2026. That's what it's going to be, all over again, where they don't give any respect to any of the owners, and it's going to be awful. And I hope somebody rushes the mic and talks about Bill Clinton or something like that again. That would really add some extra flavor to it. Like that fucking kid that was standing with the From Software people. Do you remember that guy?
Yep.
He's probably running for office now. He's probably been picked for the cabinet.
It's probably Trump just picked him for
Mr.
like
Dumpy.
I don't know, internet czar or something.
I mean, Linda McMahon's like the head of education now.
Oh my gosh, this whole fucking clown show. Hey, Dr. Oz is in charge of Medicare and Medicaid now.
How many people that have been stunned can we put in the cabinet? We already got 2. We got her and Trump in there. They both gotten the stunner before.
Yeah. Yikes.
Stone Cold, save us all.
Yeah,
Come on.
indeed.
Yeah, come stun your boss, being the boss of all of us, the president.
Where are you,
Go do
Jesse
it.
the body?
I mean, I think he's right wing too. Just see the body.
Damn it!
He went out. He went off the deep end a long time ago.
He's a little more, I don't know. I think he was libertarian going way off, but I think he's
still got
he's a little better than that.
some.
At least Nancy Mace is
He's
still
still got
cool.
some not great views.
Oh wait, no, Nancy Mace is fucking trying to be the new Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Well, I mean, is there any? I mean, I think we covered. I think that's enough.
Yeah, it's enough.
I mean, yeah. I guess the only major news thing that I guess I do want to mention before we go is Sony, possibly buying that parent company of From Software.
Yep.
That yeah. I don't know if you saw that, Jeremy. Did you see that news thing?
I did not see that, but it doesn't surprise me at all because
It's kind of a big
acquisitions are basically how it works anymore.
Yeah, and I guess the Nintendo related news in it is that the people who made Mario and Luigi, the recent one, I guess would be acquired in that too. Who also did Octopath Traveler. So that's interesting. But
It is interesting.
I mean, no, I don't know that the Mario and Luigi game wasn't that well received.
I don't know. I mean, they could, I guess, if they're offered enough money, they'll probably do it. But
I don't know how great that would be
Miyazaki's
for
probably still going to want full creative control.
yeah for From Software.
Yeah, that Miyazaki.
Also, Final Fantasy XIV is coming to mobile. It's coming for you. You got to play
I
it
don't
eventually.
know how that works.
You got to play it eventually. I mean, you like playing things on your phone, so you could play it.
Not fully 3-dimensional games.
You could play with your thing, with the Tri one or whatever it's called, the Backbone.
Okay, ending it on a Nintendo thing. It's been 30 years since Donkey Kong Country.
The first one, right?
They should open like a whole wing of the park at Nintendo World. Dedicated to it.
That's a good idea.
I mean,
They should give you royalties because you came up with that idea.
I mean, as of tomorrow, well, as of before this comes out, the Nintendo DS is 20 years old. As of November 21st, 2004.
Oh, wow.
That kind of blows my mind, to be honest.
Yeah, we need to do
Third pillar, still going strong.
We'll have to do Nintendo's highest selling
Resistive.
product
I couldn't think of that last week.
all time
Resistive
is still.
touchscreen.
So it's the Switch is still not beating the DS numbers. Highest selling Nintendo. I want to say system, but it's not a system; it's a handheld. But
It's a console.
consoles are things that you plug into your TV. It's a handheld.
It's a new concept. It's a third pillar.
Yeah, it was a definite. Well, I mean, it knocked the fuck out of Game Boy Advance. Game Boy Advance didn't stick around very long because of the DS's skyrocketing to fame.
AKA like offloading all the resources to the DS instead of the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, it didn't get that much time to. Game Boy Advance deserved better. But anyway, I think that's good for this episode. Thanks everybody for listening to episode 448 of NintenDomain. And if you would like to support the show, go to patreon.com/NintenDomain podcast. We just recorded a bonus episode that should be up in the next week about our, favorite game worlds to escape into as we read all these terrible news about awful cabinet members and whatever. Get used to it. We're going to have to be playing things to help us forget about the next 4 years or whatever. We did a fun episode about that. So check that out. For just $1, you can hear the edited version, and for $5, you can see the early videos and WART radio and all that other fun stuff. And and also, you can find you can still find me on Twitter at Nintendo_domain, but I am trying to do more Blue Sky stuff, so you can find NintenDomain on Blue Sky also. Because I've seen a lot of people going there, and I've actually added a bunch of people that I know, including our friend Nate Lockhart.
I don't even care to mention
also.
my Twitter handle anymore because I'm just trying to make the full move.
Yeah, I just need to get the only reason I would go there is because I have my list of Nintendo news all lined up, and it's pretty easy to find all.
Basically, what I'm going to do
all
is
the
I'm
newest
just going to
stuff.
copy your friend list. And that's all I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I hear so many people talk about it on podcasts, so I'm just adding them, and I ended up getting an extra bonus. I got 20.
Well, my name on Blue Sky is actually at Domain, all one word. So Jer Domain as though, I'm part of NintenDomain. That was my idea when I came up with it.
I think mine is just
a year ago or whatever.
NintenDomain Bisky or whatever. But yeah, you can also, if you want to go comment on my Dragon Quest 3 HD video and tell me how bad it looks, go to youtube.com/NintenDomain podcast. You can go on there and talk about how it looks like a mobile game or doesn't look like a mobile game, whatever. Or talk about my loud breathing from that Ease 10 video. The mic was too loud. I didn't know. But it was up too high. But yeah, check out all that stuff. And twitch.tv/NintenDomain podcast streams on Monday and all that shit. Check that out. Well, we've been your hosts. I'm Trey Johnson.
Jerry Mikowski.
On Enter.
And thanks everybody for listening. See you next time.
See ya.
2D HD.
Yeah. We're gonna feel it.